Hey guys, welcome to Mad Scientist BBQ. I'm Jeremy Yoder, and today we're cooking what I call faking duck. We're doing Peking duck, but open fire style on the Odin Pro. Today we're cooking on the Odin Pro. It's an open fire cooker. It's from Argentina. It's super cool. And if you guys want to support the channel and support a veteran-owned small business, you can get entered to win this pit. It can be yours. You can use it to cook things like whole hogs, whole ducks, rabbits, picanha, all kinds of open fire applications. And let me tell you this, there's no more drama or theater that you can have around something that you're cooking than cooking with open fire. I got introduced to this recently and I was immediately enthralled. It was so cool, and this thing can be yours. Just go to go.getenteredtowin.com/madscientistbbq, or make your life easier, click on the link in the description. You buy a collectible coffee mug and you automatically get entered to win, and this thing can show up at your house. To prep this is gonna be really simple. I'm gonna cut off a little bit of this excess skin, and then I'm going to take off these wings because they're probably not gonna survive, and there's really not much meat there to begin with. And then we're going to boil it just for a short period of time to get the skin to tighten up, because what we want at the end of this is crispy skin, smoky duck, and we want it to be really juicy. And so hopefully using this open fire is gonna give us all of that. Typically what I've seen is a very elaborate process for Peking duck because they're trying to perfect this recipe. So a lot of times they'll boil it for, 1 minute, 2 minutes, and then they'll hang it up and put it in a refrigerator. They might even freeze it. All of this is an attempt to dry out the skin. What I'm hoping for is the radiant heat that we get with this open fire is going to crisp up the skin, much like you'd get with a hog or something like that. So I'm gonna keep it pretty simple and focus on getting good flavors. So we have this water mixture here that has salt, it has sugar, it has garlic cloves, it has some chilies, because I want to kind of infuse those flavors in the meat and kind of like a rapid brine, but not really. Then I'm gonna salt the skin on the outside to make sure we get it as crispy as possible, and then we're gonna let the open fire do the rest of the work. We're gonna put it into the boiling water, 2 minutes, try to get the skin as taut as possible, get it back out, salt it, and then get it on the fire. Now I'm going to get the outside generously with some kosher salt here. Unfortunately, I see the neck has been severed. I've been faking duck. And that's probably where we want to keep it right now. Okay, we're going to leave this duck here for a few minutes while we're starting to create some coals, and then we're going to go through how to manage the heat. And if you guys want to know the expert way, you should check out my buddy Al Fragoni. He is an absolute master. He says, open fire is not a way of cooking, it's a way of life. And I believe him, because seeing open fire cooking in person, there's something you can't really replicate on camera. It is the coolest thing you'll ever do. Having a big smoker is awesome, but cooking with an open fire and having a big whole animal just hanging there, we're gonna be doing a pig next, but it's just so super cool, and I can't wait to taste these results. So when we start to make some coals, we'll check back in, but we'll see you in a few minutes. At this point, the first logs have kind of burned into coals, so we're going to move those coals around, and I've added some more wood because we want the heat from the flame, so that radiant heat, and then also the radiant heat from the coals to cook this bird. So we have it at a good distance. So if you put your hand in front of it, you should be able to let it stay there. At this point, we're looking for probably 8 to 10 seconds. As we move through the cook, we're going to have a higher temperature, and it's going to be a shorter amount of time that your hand can stay there. So right now we see a lot of sweating from the skin, which is good. We have water coming out, and eventually we want a nice dark brown, crispy skin. So to help get that crispness, I'm going to move some of these coals just in front of this bird, and then actually some maybe even underneath, so we get a little bit of fat dripping into the coals for that extra flavor. And then finally we crisp up the bird from all sides. So I'm going to move these coals around. All right, guys, it's been almost 3 hours at this point, and so we're slowly bringing up the internal temperature as we heat the outside layer and that heat transfers in. We're almost done. We just want to crisp the skin. So by the time the skin gets crispy and nice and dark, kind of golden brown, everything should be cooked. And at that point, we're going to be able to take it off and eat it. So I want to lower this down so I get more even heat top to bottom, because we've just been kind of going slowly, gently. We don't want to push it. Just like regular barbecue, it's done when it's done. I've been allowing it to gently come up, but now it's time that we want to get high heat on each side of the skin so we get that even browning, and ultimately it's all about the crispy skin. So I've rigged this up right here so that I can hang this a little bit lower so it's kind of sitting next to the fire rather than above it. That way I get kind of an even wall of heat all along one side. Then I can rotate it just to get even brown all the way around and crispy skin. So let me move this. Put it on the hook here, move it down there. I can move the fire around as I need, but I'm gonna leave it right here until this side gets brown, then move the fire, and I can flip this around too. So we're gonna check back in probably 30 minutes and see how the browning is going. This is a lot of fun, but it does require work. So if you're somebody who likes to watch a fire, this is definitely something you can get into, and it just looks awesome. One thing I wanna tell you about is something that I learned from my buddy Al. He taught me to kind of make a V with the logs so that the flames are kind of pointing toward whatever you're trying to cook. That way you get that radiant heat that's going to be responsible for browning and crisping facing what I'm trying to cook. And right now we have probably 3 to 5 seconds that you can hold your hand there before it becomes uncomfortable. That's what I'm willing to do now. If necessary, we can crank that up even more. But right now I'm just trying to get the radiant heat, get crispy skin, and get a nice golden brown. All right, I want to update you guys on what I did. I took the wood fire and moved it in front, so just in front of the breast, because I want that even browning, because that's really going to be the presentation portion. So I want it nice and brown and really delectable looking. Then I took the coals and put them behind it, so I get radiant heat from the flames in front and radiant heat from the coals kind of behind. So hopefully we'll get this thing done very evenly. Okay, 5 hours after we started this, it looks like we're done. Looks like we have good color and hopefully some crispy skin. We're not gonna know until we cut into it. This is the first time I've tried this, so we'll see how it goes. I still think it's gonna taste really good. I'm gonna pull it off, get it on the cutting board, and let's evaluate. That's hot. So here we have our whole roasted duck, our Fei King duck, and it smells incredible. It's kind of like a roasted chicken, but it smells sweeter and smokier, and I just can't wait to tear into this. But I gotta tell you guys, if you want to win this Odin Pro, just go to go.getentertowin.com/Mad Scientist BBQ. You buy a collectible coffee mug, and you get a chance automatically to win this thing. You're supporting my channel, you're supporting a small veteran-owned business by doing so. I really appreciate it, and I hope one of you wins this thing. It is so cool. I've never had so much fun cooking in my entire life. If you like to mess with fire, this is the thing for you. So be sure to check it out. The next thing we're gonna do is a whole hog, so stick around and see how that turns out. But let's cut into this and see how it tastes. For real Peking duck, I think there's something like 100 individual slices that need to be cut off of the finished bird. But this is faking duck, so I think I'm gonna separate off a thigh and take a bite of that, and then maybe do some slices of breast because I love, love, love duck breast. If you get nothing else from this video, get a duck breast and sear it in a pan. Go skin side down and render out the fat underneath the skin. Cook it to like a medium rare, and you're gonna be really glad that you did. It's like steak, but poultry, but pure magic and delicious. So let me get this thigh off and start cutting into this breast. I almost forgot to mention, we were going after crispy skin, so let's see if we achieved it. Listen to the sound. Pick it up here. So we're gonna start with the breast. Here we see crispy skin, you know, browning. Color means flavor. And then it's still juicy. So even though this is cooked differently than I would normally cook just a duck breast, this is cooked to like a well done. Normally I take a duck breast to medium rare medium. It's still juicy because of how we cooked it. We have juice from the rendered fat underneath the skin, and the meat itself is juicy too. I'm so excited. Been looking forward to this for 5 hours. I've not eaten. Let's see. Flavor on the skin is so good, man. Oh. And you get the richness and the sweetness and the right amount of saltiness, because we had some salt on the skin, and then we put a little bit of salt in the cavity, and then that quick rapid brine that wasn't really a brine at all, but we boiled it in that water. Kind of all adds together to be just right. Now, what I'm really looking forward to is the thigh. This dark meat has more fat, it has more connective tissue, it's gonna break down at higher temperatures, and it has more myoglobin in the meat, that's why it's dark. So all of those things contribute to having more moisture when you cook it low and slow up to a high temperature. So this, I think, is gonna be the bite that's absolutely killer. The breast was great. If I went to a restaurant and they served that, I'd be like, yeah, definitely want some more of that. But this, I think, might even be better. It's dripping juice. You just, yeah, don't tell me it's not juicy. And that's just a little bit of the meat right here. All right. Been battling flies, been battling heat, and now the reward. Oh, that's so good, man. So good. That bite of the drumstick there, maybe I called it a thigh earlier. I don't know. Let the record reflect that I'm now not calling it a thigh, but that bite was so good. It's actually the best tasting bite of grilled food that I've had in months. I've had some great grilled food. It's just so good, and you get a little bit of the smoke in there. It's just everything. Have texture on the outside, juicy meat, it's tender, and you have the sweetness and succulence of perfectly cooked duck. I highly, highly, highly recommend you guys do this. I think I'm actually gonna try this in a smoker too, because this was so darn good. I don't know if I'm gonna get the same juiciness or the same results, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. So, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget, if you want to win this Odin Pro, All you have to do is go to go.getentertowin.com/MadScientistBBQ. You support my channel, you support a small veteran-owned business, and somebody's gonna win this thing, and you're gonna have a blast cooking on it, I guarantee it. It is so much fun. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button down below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You can also follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Patreon at Mad Scientist BBQ. I'll see you guys next time.